Hello, welcome to the Learn American English channel, where you learn naturally so you can speak naturally. In this video, we are going to learn the questions asked about the English language. Are you excited? This should be fun.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Elizabeth, and today I'm thrilled to introduce you to Lily, a 17-year-old high school student with a passion for learning English and a head full of questions about the language. Lily, say hi to our viewers.
Hi, Elizabeth, and hello to everyone watching. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. I've got so many questions about English, and I'm ready to learn.
That's what we love to hear, Lily. Your enthusiasm is exactly why we wanted you on the show. Learning English can be a fun adventure with the right attitude.
Definitely. I've always been fascinated by how versatile and widespread English is, but sometimes it feels a bit overwhelming, you know?
Yes, it's a language filled with nuances, but don't worry, we'll tackle those challenges together. Let's start with something fun. What do you love most about English?
Oh, I love English songs and movies. They're like a window to so many cultures and emotions. But when I try to understand the lyrics or dialogues, I get stuck on phrases that don't make sense literally.
That's a great point. English is full of idioms and expressions that often confuse learners. Like when someone says, "It's raining cats and dogs," they just mean it's raining very hard. Not that pets are falling from the sky.
That's a funny image, though. I've always wondered who came up with phrases like that. They don't seem to make any sense at first glance.
It's all part of the language's charm. Many idioms have historical or cultural origins that make them interesting to learn. Knowing them can really make you sound like a native speaker.
That's my goal, to be able to understand and use English fluently, especially the idioms and slang. I also want to get better at pronunciation.
Pronunciation is a big part of sounding natural. But remember, English is spoken in so many countries, each with its own accent and rhythm. There's a lot of flexibility in how words can sound.
That's reassuring to hear. Sometimes I worry about not sounding correct, but it's comforting to know there's a range of accents.
Exactly. Embrace your unique way of speaking. It's about communication, not perfection. As long as you're understood, you're doing great.
Thanks, Elizabeth. That takes off some pressure. What about grammar? I find English grammar pretty tricky at times.
Grammar can be a bit daunting, but it's like the skeleton of the language. Once you get the basics down, building up your language skills becomes much easier.
I'll definitely keep that in mind. Are there any tips you have for someone like me who's trying to improve their English outside of the classroom?
Immersion is key. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Listen to music, watch movies, read books, and speak the language whenever you get the chance.
That sounds like a plan. I've started watching English shows with subtitles to help me understand better. Do you think that helps?
Yes, subtitles can be a great tool for learning. They help you connect the spoken and written forms of the language. Plus, you pick up on slang and idiomatic expressions naturally.
Great, I'll keep doing that then, and maybe try to speak English with my friends more often. I'm a bit shy about making mistakes, though.
Making mistakes is a part of learning. Every mistake is an opportunity to improve. Your friends will understand and support your effort to learn.
Thanks, Elizabeth. That makes me feel a lot better. Learning English feels like a huge mountain to climb sometimes, but talking to you makes it seem more like a series of small hills.
And that's the spirit. Take it one step at a time, and you'll see how far you can go. Remember, language learning is a journey, not a race. All right, Lily, you mentioned wanting to tackle some of the challenges learners face with English. What's at the top of your list?
For me, it's definitely irregular verbs. They don't seem to follow any rules. Just when I think I've got the pattern down, a new verb comes along that breaks all the rules.
You're not alone. Irregular verbs can be tricky because they don't follow the standard add-ed for the past tense rule. But the good news is, there aren't that many of them in comparison to regular verbs. My tip is to learn them in groups or through songs and stories. It's much more fun and memorable that way.
That's a relief to hear. What about idioms? I hear them all the time in movies and songs, and sometimes I can't make heads or tails of them.
Idioms are a colorful part of English. They add flavor to the language but can be confusing. Think of them as expressions that don't mean what they literally say. The key to understanding idioms is context. The more you hear and see them in use, the easier they become to understand.
I'll start paying more attention to the context then. And pronunciation? I struggle with that too. especially with words that look similar but sound different.
Pronunciation is a common hurdle, but it improves with listening and practice. For those tricky words, try using online dictionaries that have audio pronunciations. Listening to how words are pronounced and then repeating them can really help. Also, don't be afraid to ask someone. Most people are happy to help.
I've started doing that actually, listening and repeating. It's been helping, especially with my confidence.
That's fantastic to hear. Confidence is key. Remember, every speaker of English, even native speakers, had to learn and practice at some point. Nobody expects you to be perfect. It's all about communicating effectively.
That takes off some of the pressure. But how do I deal with the fear of making mistakes? Sometimes I find myself not speaking up because I'm afraid of getting it wrong.
It's completely normal to feel that way, Lily. But mistakes are a crucial part of learning. They show you're trying, which is always the first step to improving. Plus, making mistakes gives you the chance to learn something new. Embrace them as part of your learning journey.
I guess you're right. It's better to try and make mistakes than not try at all. I'll keep that in mind.
Keep that positive mindset, and you'll see how quickly you progress. Now let's talk about something a bit more fun. How do you use English in your everyday life to practice?
Well, I try to watch shows in English and sometimes even mimic the characters, but I get shy about speaking in front of others.
Watching shows and mimicking characters is a great practice. As for speaking, maybe start with friends or family members you feel comfortable with, or you could even record yourself speaking. It's a great way to practice without the pressure of an audience.
Recording myself? I never thought of that. It might be a good way to notice and correct my mistakes too.
As we start to wrap up today's conversation, I want to encourage you, Lily, and all our viewers out there to embrace the journey of learning English. Remember, it's all about patience, persistence, and practice. Every bit of effort you put in brings you one step closer to fluency.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for all the insights today. Talking to you has really motivated me to not only keep learning, but also to enjoy every bit of the process. I'm realizing that learning English isn't just about memorizing rules, it's about connecting with people and cultures.
That's exactly right, and I'm so glad to hear you're feeling inspired. To everyone watching, remember, language learning is a personal journey that's unique to each of you. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and always be open to new experiences.
And can I just add, to anyone feeling stuck or overwhelmed, just keep going. I've learned today that it's okay to ask questions, to be curious, and to find what works best for me.
Beautifully said, Lily. And to all our viewers, if you have your own questions about English, or if there's a topic you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please send them our way. We'd love to hear from you and possibly feature your questions in our next session.
And don't forget, practice, practice, practice. Right, Elizabeth?
Absolutely. Practice is key. And with that, we've come to the end of today's episode. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and remember, the world of English is vast and full of wonders waiting for you to discover. Until next time.
Did you enjoy the conversation today? Try using the conversation with your friends. We hope you learn the questions asked about the English language. Thank you for watching the Learn American English channel, where you learn naturally so you can speak naturally. Please click the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more videos like this one.